A few days ago, my sister sent me a photograph. No context, no explanation, just the picture. For a few seconds, I honestly thought she had sent it to the wrong person. Then I realized the person in the photograph was me. I just didn't recognize him immediately. My hair was shorter, I was thinner. My clothes looked like I had chosen them specifically to avoid being noticed. And I was smiling in that strange way people smile when they become aware of a camera and suddenly forget what their face normally does. I stared at the photograph longer than I expected. Then Mara sent another message. "You look terrified." I told her I wasn't. She replied almost immediately. "You absolutely were." That's the problem with older sisters. They remember versions of you that you have spent years editing. I remembered the photograph. I remembered the place. I even remembered some of the people who were there, but I didn't remember feeling afraid. Mara did. According to her, I was quieter then, more anxious. Funnier too, apparently. I don't remember that part either. Memory is strange that way. We don't remember our lives exactly as they happened. We remember the version that makes sense with the person we became. And the person I became likes structure. He likes explanations. He likes knowing why something happened and what it produced. That photograph didn't cooperate. There was no lesson in it, no transformation, no dramatic beginning. It was just me. Before I knew how to become the version of myself people recognize now. Before Miami, before certain rooms, before I understood what clothes could communicate, before I learned what training could change, before I knew how useful silence could become, before I learned to control what people saw. I used to think that version of me had disappeared, not died, not exactly, just been replaced. You change your body, your hair, the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you enter a room. You become more selective, more deliberate, more difficult to read, and eventually people meet you and assume you have always been that way. You let them, because there is something satisfying about being mistaken for someone who arrived finished. But nobody arrives finished. There are photographs that can prove it. I zoomed in on the picture, and suddenly I noticed something. My hands. One was holding the other. My thumb was pressing against the side of my finger. A small movement, almost invisible. I do that when I'm nervous. I hadn't noticed it in years. So I sent Mara another message. I don't do that anymore. She took a while to answer, then my phone lit up. "You did it last week." I laughed. Then I stopped laughing, because she was right. And for some reason, that bothered me more than the photograph. I had spent years changing things I thought belonged to that younger version of me, the insecurity, the hesitation, the need to disappear inside a room. Some of those things changed, some didn't, some simply learned better manners, and maybe that's what growing up actually looks like. Not becoming someone completely different, becoming someone capable of carrying the person you were without being controlled by him. I looked at the photograph again. This time I didn't see someone I wanted to correct. I didn't see bad clothes, or a thinner body, or someone who hadn't figured himself out yet. I saw the person who did most of the difficult work before anyone knew there would be a result, the person nobody follows, nobody remembers, nobody congratulates, because he existed before there was anything impressive to look at. I saved the photograph. Mara noticed. She sent one final message. "You still do that thing with your hands when you're nervous." I looked down. My thumb was pressed against my finger. She was right again, and that's when I realized something. Maybe the version nobody met never actually left.